Welcome back. Have you liked and subscribed to my channel yet? You really should think about it. I highly recommend it. Okay, today we're going to start putting this thing together. You can see one here. This is one I've put together already. This is, oh, hello. Yes. Here's one that I put together earlier. Now I'm going to go through some of this, not all of it. It is a little bit time consuming, and yeah, I'll teach you how to do it. Okay, so we'll just close that one. Yeah, we should save those things. Okay. Now up here in new, now we're very used to drawing a new part, standard millimeter IPT. Now we're going to go down to the assembly section. It's not a mold, it is a standard part, and we're working in that millimeter domain. Right, so I'll open that up. To be able to put parts in, start in this top left hand corner. Now when you first look at this, this will say place from content center, but you just click on the lower part and we can open up where it says place, and we're actually placing parts. What part am I going to want to put in first? I want to do this as if I was actually building this for myself. If I was building it for real, I'd start with this part number 6, the cheek plate. Select it and open. I'm going to zoom out a bit. Now, as I click with my left mouse click, I can drop as many of these as I want. Yes, I'm going to need 2 in the long run, but at this stage, look, I just want 1 to keep my workspace uncluttered. To manipulate and move this, you will probably find at some stage a way to free rotate this part. Free rotate means that you can move the part independent from the view cube. It's really important not to do that. The reason is that when I go to do my front view of this part later on, if this has been moved independent to that, you're going to end up with a skewed view of it, and it's not going to be a true representation of the shape. Okay, just clicking on the block is going to help you get the view you want. Look, this is the direction I'm going to do most of my building from, so I want to set this as my home view. That's this little one here. At the moment it's set up for not where I want it, so give it a little quick rotate. There we go, I want it to be there. Right mouse click anywhere on that view cube, and so we're going to say set the current view as my home, and I'm going to fit to view, not fixed. Fixed means it will always be this size when I click on my go to home. Fit to view means as I add more parts to this, it's going to adjust the scale to fit my screen nicely. The other thing I'm going to do while I'm here is I'm going to ground this part. Grounding means that it is locking it in place and it will stay constrained to my view cube. Okay, so I right mouse click on the icon, scoot down to where these 2 ticks are. In the middle, you see this bit that says grounded. That means it is locked in position. And at a glance, see how this has a little pin there? That pin is telling me this part has been grounded. All right, now placing in some new parts. What part am I going to put in? Look, I'd probably start with that sheave pin if I was making this. Open that one up, drop it in place, escape, because I don't need any more. Where does it go? Well, it goes into this larger diameter hole here, and if you have a look at the sizes, you'll note that the outside diameter of this little 12mm wide section here fits neatly into that one. So I'm going to constrain it in place. You're looking at setting up relationships between parts. You're looking at how one surface interacts with another. You're looking at how edges interact with another. When we look at these 2 parts, we essentially have a peg and a hole for it to go into. When you look at the types of constraints, look, there's one there. That insert one is just like a peg and a hole. Is the end being flush, or is the 2 pieces opposed to one another? I'm going to go with opposed. So when I look in here, this edge, this circular edge, is opposed to this circular edge. So when I select those 2, it opposes them. If I wanted to go the other way around, well, those two would be flush, but I don't need it flush. I want it the other way. And it's pretty easy. Once you're happy with where it's sitting, hit apply and job done. Now I've said apply because, well, I could have gone either way. Apply basically is inferring that I'm going to have more things that I want to constrain, and then OK would be, well, there's my one constraint and I'm done. I do actually need to add in a few extra bits and pieces. Let's have a look at the spacer now. I did do, see how you click this, it gives you a preview. I have actually done a sub-assembly of that part. I could grab them and put them straight in. It'll make it really quick and easy, but when I come to do a parts list later on, it'll view that as one part. It won't see that as parts A and part B. So look, I'm going to go the sleeve. 1, 2, 3 of them roughly. Escape to stop. Constrain, same constraint as before, and going with opposed again as well. Now I've got to be a little bit tricky with these because if you look carefully, I've put a chamfer on it. If I click on that particular edge, which is back from this front face, it will line up that edge on my face over here, which will be a little bit disastrous. Okay, so I need to make sure I select that smaller face that's right on the end, or that edge that's right on the end, and connect it onto there. Apply. So this is where I'm using the apply rather than OK. That one onto there and apply. Lucky last. This one onto here. Now so far the offset is 0. It needs to be touching. Okay. The next one we're going to put in is going to have an offset because I don't want the two edges lined up and actually physically touching one another. So when we put this spacer stud in, I'm going to drop 3 in. So I've basically got 3 that need to go in there. Constrain again. What's the relationship? It's still a peg and a hole. This time, however, I need the end to be flush. All right, you'll see why in a moment. Now, again, I need to be careful of that chamfer on the end. I'm looking at the inside edge here. Okay, you can see that stud poking a fair way out the back of my cheek plate. Let's put it up on edge here. Okay, by a fair bit. If you were to measure that, there is, from the end of the spacer, 50 millimeters of that stud hanging out. So I want to balance that up. I only need half of that 50 millimeters. I'm going to have an offset of 25 millimeters. Okay, 25. And it's projected it further in. Oh no. Easy fix. Just go back and put a negative on the front of it, and it's going to pull it in the opposite direction. Hit apply because I'm going to do the same thing to the next one. Back to my home view. All right. Now, make sure you get the end proper. That one. The offset's going to be negative 25, and it needs to pop into that one there. Really happy with that. And lucky last, we're still there. Negative 25. Right on the end. Inside the tube. Really happy with it. Okay, look. More or less, all the constraints that you do for your sheave pulley is based around that insert type of constraint. Okay, pretty much every single one. I'm going to leave this here and let you go and have an experiment and play and put the rest of this sheave pulley together. And in the next video, I'll talk about how to line up some of the planes. And let you wrap your head around that one. That will help line up the hook to hang directly underneath. You'll notice when you put them together this way, things will pivot and move a fair bit and can get a bit annoying. For our drawings though, we want that nice perfect alignment, and I'll show you how to get that in the next video. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon. Hooroo.